there are other talks about other pipes in the future, but that's what we have right now. So again, like with meth and with cocaine, you will inject many times a day, especially with cocaine, because it's so quick, fast, you know. So if you're injecting many times a day, 20 times a day or something, you know, that's damaging to your veins, it's damaging to your arms, you get soft tissue infections. It's just like the risk is very high, you know. But if you're injecting maybe once a day and then smoking, that's way better. You know, you're being healthier, but you're managing your high better, you know. And so it's that step down, like the old myth of, well, you have to be totally clean and you should just stop using right now. I mean, it's unrealistic for most people. You know, you don't just go from this to that. There has to be a step down, you know, from that.
And obviously, to cut you off, so we're in a vehicle, and that's because
it's hot in here too.
Yeah, we're doing what you called street outreach.
Yeah.
And then you said that you also do home visits. Can you explain like the difference between those two and like what your day looks like?
Sure. So I start out in the morning doing phone calls. I call back people who have called during the week to do home delivery, and I start calling them for later in the day. Once I get those calls done, I come out to the van and I head to Ballard. That's my first stop of the day at 10:30. I go to neighborhood care and I stop there and I do a syringe exchange for half an hour there, and then I meet up with somebody from Reach, and then we go out and go to RVs, tents, just like street outreach for about an hour.
And just so people who don't know, Reach is a public outreach organization.
Yeah, they're actually, so Reach is, their parent organization, ironically, is Evergreen, who does the methadone clinics. So, but what they are is they're just an outreach, people basically on the streets doing outreach. So they'll go out and they'll bring food, like what do you need? Do you need help with housing? And so they'll just hook them up with different services, basically.
Awesome.
So they're actually really helpful, because for people like me who are doing a service, you know, there's not a lot of extra time to go out and like, you know, just find every service, and there's really not a good platform for that in the city, which is annoying, like where you can just go look up every service, you know, especially being another service.
Right.
So it's a challenge. So they're really great for that, because that is what they do, is they just go seek out other services, and they know how to navigate those services, most of them, because they're all complicated. And so they sort of come to the other services as well and help you out with finding the people that need what you're doing. And so, yeah, they've been really helpful. So we just walk around, and, you know, she does her regular stuff, and I'm just like, also I have syringe exchange supplies, I can do Hep C testing, whatever you need, and I just offer my services, and then they take it or they don't. And after we're done with that, it's about noon, and then I go to I have a stop. I'm not going to say what it is, because I feel like, you know, they get enough flack. Yeah. And it's over and it's close to Ballard. And then at 12:45 I stop in Greenwood, and there's a couple secondary exchanges that I see there. So those are people who are like seeing a lot of folks who aren't comfortable seeing me, or aren't comfortable like leaving their houses or accessing services, but folks who will go and like distribute as well. So that's a secondary exchange. So I meet up with a couple of those people there, and then I go to the Commons over on Aurora at 1, and I'm there till 2, and I have all the services offered there, and hopefully soon HIV testing. That'd be great. And the Commons are of course there. If you don't know what that is, it's drop-in center over on Aurora, and they do really great work. And I used to stop by Linktr.ee Springs, which was a tiny house village, but unfortunately, since they're building condos behind it and those people didn't want to look at that tiny house village, they shut it down. And so a lot of those people are either in new places or unfortunately displaced at this point.
And so one more question before we get out of this incredibly hot car, which, by the way, watch my upcoming video about not leaving your dog in hot cars. The window's down, and it's like, yeah, or your humans, or anybody. But one more question. So about the areas, are you essentially just going to places where you know drug users and addicts are going to be? Is that?
Yeah, so it's really funny. Other people who try to start syringe exchanges in other cities will ask questions like, how do we know we're how do we know where drug users are? And, you know, like, this is the thing. It's like, to have them involved in your program, talk to them. Like, if you're doing a service for somebody and you don't have them involved in your program, then you're doing a shitty service. So basically, we know where people are because we live in this fucking city and we have friends who are drug users, and we're not, I don't see myself as like me and them and us and them. It's just like, I know where people are because
so you have a relationship with the people that you're helping.
Yes,
essentially.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Awesome. That's kind of what I was getting at. Is I noticed that you do have you're getting phone calls and texts, and people are hitting you up, and so like this is a service that you're providing them that they want and need. Yeah. And they're reaching out to you for that. Yes. Which is good.
And they also feel comfortable with me. Right. Because we're friends. So I go, and so after that I do house services. So I'll go to people's houses. I'll make sure everyone there's taken care of. I'll leave tons of cards. I'll do testing. And it's a little bit, it's nice because it's comfortable for them because we're in house. It's comfortable for me. I've never felt uncomfortable. I've never had a problem. I've been doing this now for over 3 years with the house calls, and I've never had one instance ever where anyone's messed with me or anything's been scary. It's all been fine, and everyone's lovely and sweet, and they fucking give me cards like the ones up here.
I'm not at all surprised about that.
That are adorable and make my day and make me feel really good, and they always end up giving them to me when I'm having the worst time. So, yeah.
Awesome. So we're in the U District, and we're gonna pick up some supplies. Is that
we are.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go do that.
All right. Cool. Is the East Coast and the South, but it is definitely here. So another thing we hand out in conjunction with this is a fentanyl test strip, which is just literally a test strip, and then we hand it out with like a cooker and a fresh water, and all you would do is you just put like a dirty cotton that you've already like filtered through, or like maybe a salt grain size of whatever you're using in this cooker, put the sterile water in there with it, mix it around, and then you're just gonna open this and you stick the test strip in and just kind of hang out in there for a minute, and then I just set it right on top, and then you wait for like, it can take 5 to 20 minutes depending on the drug and how potent and all that, and then you get 2 lines or 1 line, so you're looking for 2 lines for negative, 1 line for positive. So it's really an awesome, important tool that we have only had for a year in conjunction with Narcan. So having those 2 things has saved countless lives already. So these, I think, are really, really important things that we hand out. And then we hand out sharps containers, and we gather dirty syringes. And currently, in this van right now, there are probably somewhere in the realm of 10,000 dirty syringes that I have collected. So take that, haters, today. And I've probably handed out somewhere in the realm of maybe 5,000 to 6,000 syringes. So as I said before, we're usually collecting more than we hand out, even though we are need-based, as I said, and we don't require you to turn some into get some.
And those are like people turning them into you. You're not actually like picking them up or anything like that.
Just bringing them. Yeah. They actually do that, believe it or not. They bring them to us. I know, it's crazy. Responsible
drug addicts. Who would have ever thought?
It's a real thing. Drug users don't want syringes on the playgrounds either. They don't want, those things are not, those things are a product of the shitty housing crisis and people who are experiencing homelessness and don't have places to put trash. And the biggest problem with that is it is illegal for you to carry a dirty syringe with you. It is legal for you to have a clean syringe. It is illegal for you to have a dirty syringe. So certain entities require people to bring their dirty syringes to turn in for clean ones, yet it's illegal for them to carry them. And especially with the current sort of like situation in this city with people's attitudes towards people experiencing homelessness, they're under duress all the time, and people are constantly videotaping them, constantly like up their ass, constantly yelling at them. So just the risk of them getting arrested is so high. Like, the last thing you want to do is roll around with like a felony in your pocket. I mean, so I think once we address that and say, okay, it's not illegal for you to carry around dirty syringes, you know, I mean, we're gonna have that problem. It's just a reality. So I mean, if you actually look at the laws and, you know, educate yourself on like what meal exchange is, why this is, what's going on in the laws surrounding it, it becomes clear like what's going on. And it's, yeah, people don't like dirty syringes around who use this service. They complain about it all the time, and I'm like, I think the proof is here. Like, I've got all these dirties in here and all these used syringes in here, and you know, people risk literally their freedom to bring me these. So I just always like to stress that because I think it's important for people to know.
I agree.
So